Hello everyone, welcome to another video on AWS Lambda and Python full course. This is the 8th video in the series, and in this video and the next we are going to discuss a common industry use case using S3, DynamoDB and AWS Lambda. Let's do a quick recap. In the part 1 of the series we discussed Python basics. Part 2 we discussed creating S3, EC2 and DynamoDB using AWS Lambda Python. And in the final part, we are going to discuss the common industry use case. Okay, so this is the target architecture we are going to build in this video and the next. So this is a common use case across banking and retail industry. So we have a feed coming at regular intervals on S3. So this can be in form of a JSON file, a text file or a CSV. Once this file has been uploaded into S3, it will trigger a event notification that will trigger the Lambda function. So this Lambda function is going to read the JSON file from this S3 bucket. It's going to print that out and then insert it into DynamoDB. So we'll use the S3 that we created in the video 5. So we'll use the same S3 bucket. So this is the name of the bucket. And then we'll also use the DynamoDB table that we created in the video 7 using the Lambda function. So this is the name of the DynamoDB table. So you can also create it through the console. That should be okay. So now let's quickly look at some of the steps we are going to follow. So we'll create a Lambda function in the console, increase the timeout limit like we did for some of the previous videos. We're going to enhance, update the IAM role. Then we're going to search for the Boto 3 library for either client or resource method. So the new steps that we're going to see in this one is to understand the data type that the response gives once our Lambda function reads the S3 object, and then we'll understand what data format this DynamoDB table expects once we insert the data. So if there is any difference in the data format, then we have to do that conversion. Then finally, we'll write the Lambda function to read the data from JSON file and print it. And in the 7th step, probably in the next video, we're going to insert the data into the DynamoDB table. And then finally, we'll run the end-to-end use case using the S3 event trigger. So let me go to the console. Okay, I'm going to do a create function and let me name it as S3 DynamoDB, and I can just today's date, and time will be Python create function. Okay, now the function has been created. Let me go to configuration and general configuration. I'm going to increase the timeout limit to say 2 minutes. Save. Then I'm going to go to permissions. I'm going to change add permissions to this role, add more permissions so that it is able to access S3 and DynamoDB tables. Okay, add permissions. So I'll add S3 because it needs to access the S3. So attach policy. Okay, now I will add the DynamoDB access. Okay, I'll give it full access. Okay, attach policy. This is done. Now let me go back to the code. Okay, so let me get rid of this boilerplate code. I will go to Boto 3 and search for S3 method to read that JSON from the S3 bucket. So I'll go here, click on client. So we'll go to get object. So this is the method. Let's see the syntax, request syntax. So this is the request syntax. So it has a lot of things, but the only parameters that we require is the bucket, and you require the key of that object, and I think that's pretty much it. So let me just, okay, so I'll just copy this request syntax and just paste it here. I'll get rid of this stuff. I'll just keep the key and the bucket name. So one thing we need to do is we missed copying the import boto3, and so that's for importing the boto3 library and creating a connection to the s3 bucket. So I'll just copy this and I will just paste it here. So now let's go to the bucket. So what's the bucket name? This is the bucket name. Okay, I already have a sample file. Let me just quickly show you. So it has just 4 attributes. So here's the customer ID, a product named Toffee, then it has address, and it has quantity. So I will just upload this file. Just drop it here. Okay, now I'll just do an upload. Okay, so I can see within this bucket I have this sample JSON file. Okay, I need the key now, so I'll just click on this and I can see, you can see the key here. So I'm going to substitute the key here in this one. Okay. Now let's see what the response syntax looks like for get object. Okay, so you can see the response syntax. We're getting a lot of data. Okay, so the only thing you can, so we're getting a dictionary, but you can see when I go through all this documentation, what I can see is the key thing that we need is this body, which would give all the attributes of that JSON. So this will come as an object data. So this is a dictionary, so we'll pass this key to get that data. Okay, so let me go here and let me store that in a variable. So JSON underscore data is equal to, so response, the name of the key, okay, and we'll do print JSON data. Okay, so one more thing we need to do is, if you remember in the video second, we determined what is the type of the response we are getting. So we'll do a type to understand what data type we're getting. So we'll just do JSON underscore data. Okay, we'll deploy, test, create test event, create test. Okay, it's giving me some syntax error. Let me just try and fix this. Okay, now I think it's created, it's read that file, but it's giving me a response in form of protocol streaming object. Okay, so this is something we have to see what that means. So we can see here in the first step, I didn't understand what this response looked like, so it seemed like a streaming body object. So I just did a quick search So I'm just trying to show you how I approached it. Let me just search, and you can see the first response I got was exactly what I saw there on the streaming body. So you can see it has given various methods. The one I will use is read. So read at most amount bytes from the stream. So if you don't provide any argument, it's going to read all the data. So one thing we need to check is what is the DynamoDB, what data type is DynamoDB expecting for inserting the data into the DynamoDB table. So that's the format we need to get our response and convert it in the same format. So let's take a look at DynamoDB resource. So here we need to do a put item to put the data into the DynamoDB table. So you can see here it's expecting a dictionary type. So that's what we need to get the output as. So right now it was the protocol response. So we looked at here we saw that we need to use the read method. Okay, so that's why we need to change this to a read method. So I'll just do a read, and let me just put a comment. Convert to so what does it convert to? You'll just see it's not written what format it converts to, and that's why we have this type. So it will just tell us what format we finally get from this. Convert from streaming data. Okay, let me deploy and run it again. Okay, so class method, and okay, I think I made a mistake. So I didn't fully copy this. So this should be okay. Now let's deploy and see what happens. Okay, now you can see the data. So we have the customer ID, product toffee, address, and quantity, but it's converted this into bytes. But we are expecting, or at least the DynamoDB put method is expecting a dictionary. Okay, I can upload only up to 15 minutes video, so I will continue this in the next video.